Hey everyone, it's Kris.
And I'm Wyatt, Elliott from Notebook Entertainment.
And we're here with a very special Notebook TV production, Best My Worst.
Of 2022.
We're going to count down our top 4 best horror movies, top 4 worst horror movies, and top 4 most meh movies of 2022, because we had so many to choose from.
There was. It was a great year for horror. And granted, this is just of what we saw.
Yep.
So forgive us if we miss your favorite movie of the year because we didn't see it.
Let us know about it in the comments if we miss it, because
Please do.
we love movies.
And let us know your top 4 of each category or of top 10, whatever you want to do. We'd like to hear what you liked this year.
Yep, exactly, because reminder, these are our opinions. We're not like film scholars. We're not.
No.
This is just what we personally,
Liked.
by our taste,
Yep.
dislike, and felt meh.
And I want to clarify, so to me, what meh means is movies that, you know, maybe the kills are great, but the story's bad, or it was fine, you know, but it wasn't terrible, so I didn't hate it, but maybe just...
But it wasn't great, so we didn't love it.
So it's like, well, I don't want to say it sucks. So
But I
that's
don't want to say it's great either.
Exactly. So we'll clarify why each movie that is meh to us or worst or best. So
Exactly. And we haven't seen each other's lists, so we don't know if we've matched or
no,
whatever.
have not. So who starts?
I'll go first, and we're starting with best.
I say we go best, meh, worst.
Okay, so number 4 for best, Terrifier 2. This is one he mentioned where for him the meh was maybe good gore but bad story. The story was whatever in this movie, but as a special effects makeup artist myself, like the gore impressed me so much in this movie. It was fantastic.
I do agree. On my list, Terrifier 2 is on my list as well, obviously.
Oh, where is it?
I was a little more critical, and it ended up on my meh list.
Yep.
Because of what you just said.
Well, like I said, I'm a special effects person, so like I look at it and I'm like, how can I do that? You know,
Right,
that's
yeah.
my first thought is how can I do that on my budget?
And I put it on meh because I loved the first one, even though it's got no story at all. It's all just gore. But this one felt like they were given an opportunity and he tried, well, let's try to do a story. And I think it would have been better if they just didn't have a story again.
Yeah, the story didn't follow through very well.
No, it was setting up a lot with no follow through or no conclusion to it. And it was all just 2.5 hours long was just too much.
It was too long, yeah,
guys.
it was too long.
Now, to its credit, I wasn't doing this in the theater.
No.
You know, I wasn't bored at all. And the actors did a great job. But it didn't need to be that way. And when I think about the movie, that's what is lingering in my head.
No,
is that it was
the
too
effects
long
stayed
and the
with
story.
me. I still think about them like it's and that's why for me, for a best movie, it's not necessarily one that's cinematically great or whatever. It's
Right.
what stuck with me, you know?
Yep.
So
Agreed.
Terrifier 2 stuck with me.
And that's great, and which like I said, I love Terrifier, and I even went back and watched his debut in All Hallows Eve, you know, for art, and I can't wait to see more. So I think it's only going to get better from here.
Yep.
And what I also really love is that because of the success of this movie, we're going to get more gory.
Yep.
They're going to try to out-sicken us, and I love that idea.
Was it Damien Leone, the guy
Yes.
that is in charge? He just got representation because of this movie, too.
Oh.
He wasn't represented before.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, when you make a movie for what, $2 million or something,
Right.
and it makes $11 million, like you're gonna get the attention of a lot of people. So, all right.
So you're number 4 for best.
Number 4 for best. Studio 666.
That's on my list
Is
too.
that on your
It's
list?
on my best list. I won't say where, but it is on my best list.
It is on my best list because there was a lot of good movies, but talk about one that really sits with you and how much fun. To watch this movie was fun for me because they were having the time of their fucking life in this movie. You can see it.
Yep.
You know, it is sad that
Taylor
Hawkins passed away and it's his last thing, but it does look like he had fun on set making this, you know.
And Jenna Ortega's in it.
And Jenna Ortega is in it, and she's just the best. She's in everything. Her and Mia Goth, I just love them both.
Yep.
But yeah, this movie was just so much fun. The gore was awesome.
The gore's awesome.
The
chainsaw kill is my favorite.
The best. Absolute best. And Dave Grohl is funny. I mean, we knew he was funny, but he's really funny. I mean,
they all were. I thought they all played their little parts perfectly.
I loved it.
Like, it was just fun.
I love the cameos from
Whitney Cumming.
Yeah, and Will Forte.
Forte,
was in it.
yeah.
Yeah, just loved it. Just if you haven't seen this, I don't care if you're a Foo Fighters fan or not. You really should watch it for a horror fan and just know that these guys aren't actors. They're not horror movie,
right.
They're horror movie people, obviously. But
don't go in expecting Oscar-worthy performances or anything.
And also, I was expecting like a rock musical movie.
Right, and that's not what it was.
No, it wasn't. But I just loved it. So it had to go on my top list. It just had to.
Agreed. All right, so my number 5 for most meh movie was Nope. Or number 4, sorry, not number 5.
Yeah,
number 4.
Right,
I'm thinking
4.
Thanks We Hate It, which is a different show.
Yeah, I'm not Alex. Couldn't.
You could never be Alex.
I could never be
Alex is too awesome. But yeah, for me it was Nope. The themes are amazing and I think necessary to explore because there was a lot of like child exploitation and Hollywood exploitation and stuff like that were a lot of the themes. But I don't know, for me it fell flat.
It did kind of, and Nope didn't end up making my cut at all. I couldn't decide whether it was a meh or a best, because I loved the actors in it. I loved this movie until the reveal of what it was. And it kind of reminded me a little bit of M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Yeah, where the ending just kind of disappointed.
Was like, what is this? But to be fair, spoiler alert if you haven't heard, but Jordan Peele tweeted out a long time ago when he was writing this, I'm going to make clouds scary.
And he did.
Because
I've seen all kinds of people post pictures of clouds and be one lone cloud and be like, Jordan, what is this?
Yeah, so I see what you're saying about it for sure, but I couldn't decide, and I do ultimately like it.
For me, it's like I said, the themes are important. I think they're worthy of exploring in a film. I think he did explore them well. It's just the whole movie is underwhelming, and so for me, that's why it's meh. I do like it. I like the actors, but I just couldn't find myself liking the movie as a whole.
I will say this, when I really think about his movies, and with the many problems as Us has, I like Us better. Yeah. I think Us was creepier. Yeah.
All right, so my number 4 for hated it. 4. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022. Because you have to specify.
Yes.
My thing here is not every franchise has to copy each other, guys.
No.
Like, just because Halloween does something doesn't mean everybody else has to do something. And there was absolutely no fucking reason for Sally to be in this movie at all.
I think I liked this movie up until Sally showed up.
Dude, that bus scene was dope as fuck, y'all.
Fuck, yep. I liked it until she showed up, and especially when we found out it wasn't even the same actress and that she had passed away already. So it's like, why are we even doing this?
Because Halloween did. Like,
and then they just killed her off, so it didn't even build anything.
I know.
They can't do more.
It was worthless. It was useless. It was a stupid plot point that dragged down what could have been a much better movie. It pissed me off so much. Like, her being in it for no reason and to the detriment of the plot made me so angry.
It did. And what we said earlier, what taste does the movie leave in your mouth when you're done? This one is, when I think about it, that's what I think about. And it thinks about, oh, that's bitter.
Yeah, the bus scene is my second thought, because my first thought is, why was Sally in it?
The bus scene was really good, you guys. Like, the bus scene was gory and just chopping arms and heads off, and it was just fantastic. But yeah.
All right. So you're number 4 worst.
4 worst.
4.
Christmas, Bloody Christmas. I just watched this the other night.
I haven't watched it, so I don't know.
I've been wanting to see this since the trailer came out.
Yes.
I thought it looked badass. It's a mechanical Santa that comes to life that just starts slaughtering people, and why wouldn't the cinematography look good? It
should all come together.
It should all come together. This movie, for the first half hour, no, maybe longer, it may have been 45 minutes, is nothing but a girl who works at a record shop, who owns a record shop, and her employee talking about pop culture and just shitting around with a Santa maybe coming to life and then doesn't. Maybe coming to life and then doesn't. And they're friends and they're bullshitting around, going on town, getting drunk, and the conversations is so amateur written. It reminds me of somebody. I'm going to throw myself under the bus. When I was younger, I loved Quentin Tarantino so much. And my writing style was very, well, we're going to drop this, and we're going to drop this, and we're going to talk about this band, and we're going to talk about Beatles, and we're going to talk about these movies and this. And that's what it felt like. But it just kept going and going and going. And these people are not interesting. These people were not interesting. They were not making good points. The girl was specifically trying to piss you off by liking the dumbest fucking shit. There's a scene where they're going over movies, and he goes, Nightmare on Elm Street, and she names Freddy's Dead is her favorite. And he goes, Alien Covenant, she says, is her favorite. I'm like, kill her. Kill her now. Kill this bitch. Because I don't know if it's supposed to be funny or if this is the filmmaker talking through her, but it's just the worst. Then the Santa finally comes to life. Okay, thank God. Kill some of these people. And he does, and he kills their friends and this and blah, blah, blah. Then it turns into the Terminator. And I kid you not, where everybody's dead except for her. He's chasing her out through the town. For no reason, by the way. They never explain why he comes to life. They never explain why he's murdering people. He picks up shotguns and shoots them with them. He's got axes. He uses weapons. He acts like a slasher. But he's a robot. And the only explanation they have is at the top of the movie, they say the technology came from the military. That's it. That's it. And then it just goes, and they established that there's 2 of these Santas in the city, and they only show 1. So I thought, well, maybe 1 dies and there'll be another one. It'll be cool. Nope, they never explained.
Or they'll meet and fight.
Yeah. Maybe they're saving it for the sequel. I don't know.
I don't know. They'll get a sequel.
This movie, have you ever wanted to like a movie so bad and then you saw it and you just...
Yes. Because
you made up your own movie in your head of what it was? I hated this movie. It's so amateurishly written, bent over. I could go on forever about this movie. It pissed me off.
All right, so I can skip that one.
Yeah, I can't recommend you watch it. I just can't.
Last time you did that to me, I saw The Empty Man and didn't like it.
Yeah, well,
Still
here's
mad
the
at you
difference.
about that.
The Empty Man, I got a good recommendation from a very good YouTuber, which I'm not going to drop his name here. Chris Stuckman. And he said how good this movie was, so I watched it, and I was like, I didn't like this, but maybe I'm missing something. No, so I made her watch it because I thought maybe she's smarter.
Man sucks.
But no, it was not good.
All right, so now we're back to our best, our top best. So my number 3, Studio 666.
Oh.
So we already talked about that. Yeah. But that was my number 3 for my most favoritist of the year. Like we said, it was just really fun, guys. It was just really awesome,
yeah. So I don't think there's anything else to add to that.
No, so your number 3.
Number 3 of the best. Prey.
And again, I didn't see that one.
I did like Prey a lot. It's been okay, we all know the Predator franchise has had issues.
That's why I didn't see that one.
So, and I'll be honest, if Prey was in theaters, I may not have seen it. But the fact that it was on Hulu and it was just right there and people was getting praise, because I've seen all the Predator movies except for the last one they made that Shane Black made called The Predator, because I just heard it was just so bad and I knew it just pissed me off. Because I love The Predator. I love The Predator. Predator 1 is one of those movies I can watch over and over and over and over again and never get tired of. Predator 2, Predators was fine, I guess. But and I hate the Alien AVP Predator movies because they've never gotten it right. They just can't seem to get it right.
But Prey
was good. You had a good antagonist. They brought it back down to basics again. So it's the Predator versus a person back in the 1600s, I think, or 1400s. And she's a Native American.
And they got Native actors.
They actually got Native actors in it. Yep. And the Predator is kind of a little more. He's redesigned because it's supposed to be. He's also from a days gone past. And I just like the cat and mouse of this whole thing. It's good. I would just say check it out. And it left me with a positive feeling. So, wanting more.
Always a plus.
Yeah.
So, our most number 3 for me, Scream. So, Scream for me, and I think it made my list because I've been screaming about how much I hate it all year.
You've been screaming about it?
And I do hate it. Yeah. But here's the thing is I think my overall love for the franchise overcomes a lot of that hate. So it's It's now been absorbed into the franchise. Yeah. It's what it is.
It's canon, guys.
Right. And it's, it's like when Halloween 5, 6, all those came out, and you're like, well, if this is what you're going to give me, then I guess... okay.
Yeah.
And now I love those. Like, I unironically love 5 and 6. They're horrible fucking movies. But I do. I'll watch them all the time. Yeah. And so I'm hoping that because I love the Scream series so much that eventually 6 will grow on me. Mm-hmm. But I hated it. I did not like the way they handled the characters. No. I don't think they did them properly. I don't like that they killed certain characters.
They made bad decisions trying to be bold and trying to be new. And I personally, we've talked about this a lot on this channel. Yeah. It didn't work for me. I know it didn't work for you.
It did not. That's another thing I will say that does save this movie from being on the worst list for me and puts it on meh, is that Jenna Ortega's performance in that was fantastic. Her as Tara, I will watch all. I hope she's the main protagonist going on. I don't think Sam is anything. She's nothing. She's furniture.
No, yeah.
The ghost. I can't with the Billy ghost. I really can't.
The only thing I gotta say with the Billy Ghost is I say if you're gonna do it, then go all in on it, and let's have a Dewey Ghost in the next one, and he helps him.
I don't even know.
It'd be stupid as hell, but I'm just like, bring it on. Because, I don't know, guys.
And the fact that to retcon it and have Billy have cheated on Sydney, and like, it's just,
I think... I promised myself I'm going to watch it again before 6 comes out, and I'm going to, but I haven't been able to get myself to watch it.
It just doesn't, you don't want to put it on.
It feels like it's going to be a chore to watch.
Exactly.
And we'll see.
Exactly.
All
right, so you're number 3, meh.
Number 3. VHS 99. I love the VHS series, but they're hit or miss.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of different stories going on in there and everything. And this one just felt... I mean, we just had a new one last year, so it felt like it was...
rushed.
Yeah, it felt rushed. There was a couple good stories in there, but the overall story that hooks them all together was kind of weak. Although I thought the one last year was weak, too. It didn't really leave... None of the stories really left a lasting impression on me. So it was just kind of... meh. It was the perfect definition of meh. I hear they're going to make more. I still watch them. The first 2 are phenomenal. And then they've kind of just gotten desperate as they've gone along. I mean... They
need to wait until they have ideas, I think, before they do more. But they've already announced another one.
So they'll just keep pumping them out as long as people watch them. So, and I'm sure
I think it belongs on meh, for sure.
It's a meh. It's a meh for me. I don't have much to say about it because...
It's meh.
It's a anthology series. So you can't say, well, it's bad because of this, this, and this. Because every single one of them has issues. And some of them have terrible acting. Some of them have terrible effects. Some of them are just like, what the fuck did I just watch? But, yeah, it's a meh for me, guys.
So we're for number 3 worst.
Yeah.
I picked Men.
Me too.
Is that your number 3?
Yeah, it sure
Okay,
is.
cool. No,
I don't know what
movie.
this was.
Like, I already was not on board for this movie when it was announced because I was like, that Men is a little too on the nose for women. Like, we're already sort of scared of men all the time. Like, because you never know which one you're going to say no to and get your brain shot in for. Right, so, like, I was already not really cool with this. And then we went and saw it and it was exactly what we thought it was going to be, only... I don't know. I don't know what happened in the movie.
It was and it wasn't, because it starts out what we thought it was going to be, and this poor woman who's traveling overseas, and this. But by the end of it, it's just like what the fuck, and they describe it as like a folklore fantasy or something, and I'm like, Irish folklore or something. And I'm like,
I don't know what.
I still don't know what happened at the end.
Yeah,
I really don't. Like, if you guys can explain it to me in the comments.
I already knew I was going to hate this movie when it was announced, and then it was just, I went and saw it and confirmed that I hated the movie. Like, that's all that happened.
It was frustratingly bad.
Yeah.
And I know we're not the only ones who think that. Everybody I've talked to has seen this movie.
Did we do a review on this? I feel like we did, or I don't remember.
I think we wanted to, but we just were like...
What do we even say? Like...
Yeah. It's one of those movies. it's kind of like a David Lynch movie, but not.
But I liked it.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but not, in the weirdness factor of it, but not as artistic, not as well done.
Right. The scenery was pretty. I'll give it that, because I do like to find at least one nice thing to say about.
Oh, it was well shot.
It was the scenery was beautiful. Wherever they shot was beautiful.
Yeah, agreed. I think we should find something positive.
That's it.
I agree with you. I don't know what else to say about this movie.
I don't.
But
I almost hated it.
I almost made it my worst of the worst, but there was worse.
There was worse, guys. There was worse for sure.
Because this movie was at least well made.
Right. Right.
So there was worse.
There was way worse.
And we're not talking about those B movies on Tubi either.
No, because some of those are better.
Some of those are awesome.
At least they've got good stories. I love Aunt Ethel. I will die on that hill.
Aunt Ethel's amazing.
All right, so top number 2.
Number
2 of my favorites for the year. Bodies, bodies, bodies.
Yay!
Did you have that one?
I did not, and I don't know. I think it just slipped through the cracks.
I loved Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. It was so much fun. And I agree with everybody who's saying that this is going to be Gen Z's Scream.
Agreed. Yeah.
This is their horror genre defining moment for their generation.
I think he's already a star, but I think it's a star making role for Pete Davidson.
Oh yeah, and all of the girls were fantastic. The one that plays Alice is my favorite. I love Alice so much.
This movie was not what I expected at all in a good way.
I know.
Because I thought it was just going to be your, kind of a fun slasher.
Oh, the twist at the end is hilarious, you guys.
It's the best. And we can't.
I really don't want to give it away.
Right. Because if you haven't seen this movie...
I'll spoil a bad movie, but I don't want to spoil a good movie.
No.
Go see Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. It's on... I bought it. It's on Blu-ray
It's
now.
On Blu-ray. So. I don't know if it's streaming anywhere, but it's A24, which, they've got... They're like them and Blumhouse are like our big horror guys right now.
This was the most fun movie, I think, of the year. For me.
I
couldn't wait to see it again. We got out of the theater and I was like, again! I want to see it now.
I have not had the pleasure of watching it again yet.
I have because I bought it.
Good for you.
And I was real excited too to watch it.
So, because I missed Bodies, Bodies, Bodies somehow, what were we at? 2?
2 for best.
So my 2 for best, Smile. And
I didn't see this one.
I saw it recently. We were trying to see it in theaters for a while, but just got too busy. I liked it. It's dark. It's a psychological scary movie, I would say, because it's all kind of in her. She thinks it's all in her brain, but it's obviously something that's going around. So
It Follows.
Yes, it takes It Follows and what's the one, The Ring, or one of those where it's this thing that follows you around that you're going to die in a certain amount of days and stuff. And it's not a gore fest, and it does have some gore in it. It keeps your attention. The girl in it, I can't remember her name, but she's a real good actress. She's got a future for sure. I know it's a small budget movie, and but it doesn't
based off a YouTube short.
Based off a YouTube short, which they did finally release back on YouTube.
I saw that.
I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but they did release it. Probably because it's gonna be on the DVD or whatever. But I don't want to give away too much. The last shot of the movie is where the fuck did that come from? It's really fucking creepy. But I loved it. At the same time.
Yeah, I still want to see it. I just haven't yet.
It's well worth your time, well worth watching, and I don't know what else to say about it, but it's really well done, and I liked it. So,
yay! Not
much to complain about.
All right, so number 2 for most meh. For me, it was Halloween Ends.
Yeah.
And no Halloween movie will ever go on my worst list because that's how in I am with this whole series. I am in. No matter what they do, I'm in. And with this movie, I did like it, but it's because I see what they were going for. I had to, and I even had, because he came out of it going, I hate it. And then I kind of explained what they were going for, and he's like, okay, well, I still hate it, but.
Right. Which, to be fair, Halloween Ends I struggled with. I almost put it on Matt, I almost put it on worst. I ultimately didn't include it at all. Because it was one of those movies that, true story, and the credits rolling, I hated this movie. I told her immediately I hated this movie. We discussed it, we talked about it, not only that, but then I started talking to other people about it, researching what they were going for, and I decided I didn't want to condemn them for trying something new.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I think they handled it wrong. They should have.
Corey needed to show up in the end of the second one.
Yep.
And that would have fixed so many problems. If they had taken the beginning of Halloween Ends and put it at the end of Halloween Kills, that would have solved all of the issues.
Everything.
Because my biggest problem is not Corey. It's the time jump. It's that we have 2 time jumps in the beginning of this movie. Because the Corey scene is 1 year after Kills, and then we go 3 more years after that.
And there's little things that piss me off about the time jump, too. Like, I understand, and this didn't piss me off right away. I didn't notice it. But when I saw what James and Chelsea said about it, I agreed that all of a sudden, Laurie's like, has these Halloween traditions.
Right.
When she supposedly hated Halloween for decades and didn't celebrate it or anything, and all of a sudden they got these traditions from, like, what, 2 years ago? And of course,
traditions start somewhere. I gotta start somewhere.
I guess. And then also the way that she was, the daughter was just like in love with this guy immediately. It was just so cartoonish and just so ridiculous. Well,
again, the theme, each movie in this new trilogy has a theme, and I firmly believe the theme of the third one was, this infection of evil,
I think you're right.
And I think that's what they were hoping to rely on to explain a lot of Allison's character in this one, and it wasn't as clear as they'd like. The stuff in the sewer wasn't as clear as I know that they would have liked, because I caught caught things, but they didn't explore it. And so you were just left to kind of assume and fill in the blanks.
The sewer stuff really made me think they were going to go into the cult of the Thorn, and then they didn't.
I wish they did.
And then I was sad because I was like, at least they
and I wish they had kept their original ending where it turned out it was Silver Shamrock. Those are the kinds of things they messed up.
That's what we want. They had the opportunity. This was their opportunity. The next reboot, they're going to have to do it or something.
I think I've heard rumblings that they're already talking about Silver Shamrock and that kind of stuff for a new movie.
But this was the opportunity to do it, and maybe he just didn't want to, or maybe they...
I think it leaked or something, and so they wanted to change it because they didn't want to...
I think that's got to stop, because I've heard Marvel does that too, and I think, guys, if it leaks out, or if the audience just figures it out because they're comic book fans, or they're Michael Myers fans, or whatever, then fine, they figured it out. But don't change your story.
Right.
Because that's the story. That's what you've been working on for years. Leave it.
Exactly.
All you're going to do, if the internet says they're excited about what the theory is, then just let it be.
If they had done Silver Shamrock, people's minds would have been like, it would have been perfect.
It would have explained, because even if the ending was just, you see the Scarecrow mask fall down and it's got the Silver Shamrock thing in it, or Michael Myers mask, anything. Silver Shamrock logo, that's all you needed. But whatever. So I'll never hate a Halloween movie. Yeah.
But this one was definitely meh for me.
And I think ultimately it's meh for me too, but I just decided just to not include it at all because I had other ones. So...
Number 2 meh.
Yeah, it's a toss-up, but I'm going to go with it. Grim Cuddy. Grim Cuddy is on Hulu, and I don't know why, but when we talked about it on the news, the trailer just looked cool. So I was like, I'm going to check this out. And it kept my attention. I did like it. It's a low-budget movie. I love the way the creature looks. He's very, in some shots, he might be a puppet, maybe? He's very disproportioned.
Kind of like Chucky, or when he's running, it's obviously a child.
But this is this giant thing, and the way his head in it, it's just weird. But some of the acting is not the best in it. But I liked the lore that they built in this movie. I liked the fact it reminded me, and this is probably why I like it. It reminded me of what I could do, because
on our budget,
when you see some of the masks and the Halloween costumes that we utilize, that's what this looked like, kind of like they put a lot into it, but they couldn't show it a lot because it wasn't
perfect.
But I like the storyline. I like it. It's also a story where there's a curse and it follows you and blah blah blah. I do think it's worth your time. That's why I put it on Matt, because it's not bad. It's not a terrible movie. I think it is worth your time to watch. Don't go into it expecting amazing, but it kept my attention, and what's wrong with that? And when I thought back on it, I didn't have negative, fuck this movie. So, yeah, Grim Cuddy.
Fair enough.
I'd watch it. Hulu, Hulu's been really doing good on the horror lately. It did not make my list, but I'll put it as a bonus or whatever. But Hellraiser was good too.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, so number 2 worst for me was Firestarter. Fuck that movie.
Yeah, that's on my list too.
Fuck that movie. Where?
It's my number 1 actually.
All right. All right. So for worst.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hate this movie.
I hate this movie so much, and here's why I'm not sure why he will get into it, but here's why I personally hate it is I'm a huge Stephen King fan, right? So the book movie version of the father and daughter love each other. That is at the core of this story, is that this father and daughter love each other. That plays out in the movie with Drew Barrymore as well.
Sure does.
This, I don't know what the hell, the whole core of the story is that the father and daughter love each other.
Right.
And I swear to God, this little girl wanted to murder her father the entire movie. I thought Zac Efron, she was going to murder,
I thought he wanted to kill her too.
Yeah.
There were times where I thought he would
they hated each other.
It felt like he was like a adopted father or something that was like, I have to take care of this girl because her mom died or something, That's how it felt. It felt forced. It felt awful. And this little girl was amazing on AHS.
Oh God, it's not her problem at all. But the thing is I'm not sure she can pull off what Charlie needed to be. Charlie as a character is a very sweet, very young girl. She wants to help people. She wants to, all that stuff. It's the power that she can't control, and her dad's helping her try to control it and all this stuff. But Ryan Kira Armstrong is the little girl who plays Charlie in the new movie, and I'm sorry, that kid looks evil. She will excel at roles where she is the villain, but this wasn't it. You needed that cuddliness.
Yes, Drew Barrymore was afraid of her powers.
Yes.
She was horrified at the things that she did. This little girl is like, fuck all of you.
Right. Which, she's how the rest of us would be if we had those powers,
true.
to be honest.
I guess I don't know. I hated this movie too.
If I could set people on fire,
I have not read the book, but I've seen the original movie. In fact, we went back and watched the original movie before watching this one just because we knew
Which the original movie is way closer to the book, too.
And the only thing I can give this one credit for was hiring an actual indigenous actor to play, I don't remember his name, whatever.
Gray Eyes? No,
Eyes?
I think that's the actor's name.
Oh.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either. But, and that's the only thing I can say. Oh, yeah, Gray Eyes is in Prey, too, by the way. That's the only thing I can say. Otherwise, this movie, I hated it from start to finish.
I hate this movie so much.
The acting was terrible, or at least not on point to what it should have been. It was rushed. It felt like the editing was like chop, 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 chop. Let's just get to the end.
And I don't believe him as a dad. I just don't believe Zac Efron as a dad.
I don't believe the director or writers of this movie knew what they had. I don't think they understood the assignment. So they just wrote it as, this little girl has powers. It's Carrie.
Right. They made her Carrie.
Carrie.
Carrie and Firestarter are 2 different books, guys.
Completely different characters.
2 different characters.
Completely different characters. It's not, here's young Carrie and then she grows up to this. No. It's completely different. They missed the assignment on this movie.
Yep.
And it just, it's so bad. I hate this movie. We did do a review on this one. So watch our full review if you want to know.
Yeah, we'll link to the review somewhere. But yeah, we did not like this movie.
And this was we watched it on Peacock, but this was in theaters. This was a major, if it wasn't for the pandemic, this would have been a major release. And I just don't understand.
I'm glad we watched it on Peacock. I would have been pissed if we went to the theater.
I hope nobody paid for this movie, but I know that some people did. But it's my worst, I think, of the year, because I just think that some of these movies that are on the worst, okay, they had lower budgets or they had this and this. There's no
excuse for this other than bad storytelling.
Yeah, and just not understanding your own movie, not understanding the assignment. And
horrible.
It's horrible.
I hated it. All right.
Number 1 of...
what's your number 2 for worst then, if that's your number 1?
Oh, okay. Well, I have a feeling this is your number 1. But my number 2 is Jeepers Creepers Reborn.
Yep, same.
I guess I had lower expectations for this movie, that maybe it came
We went into this with low expectations and still were disappointed.
Yes.
Let's be clear here.
We did. So I guess it was a toss-up between Firestarter and this one for me, but I just ultimately hated Firestarter
What even
more.
is this movie? We will link to the
review
like
on
our
this
review
one,
of this is just us shitting on that movie
Yeah.
the whole time because like why is there a coven? What is the coven there for? What even happened at the end of this movie? Why are her eyes black?
Right.
I hate this movie so much.
I don't remember any good kills. Maybe the one girl got...
It wasn't
something
even
in
the
her
kill.
head.
It was her skull was pulled forward so you could grab her brain out of it. That was the only highlight in the whole movie.
No, there was a lot of cutaways from the kills, and it was just... Yeah, it's a bad.
It's bad. It's
guys.
bad. There's a tell me why there's a coven. We don't know. They didn't tell us. Tell me why this girl who we assume never had visions before doesn't freak out when she starts having visions.
Yeah.
We don't know. They didn't tell us.
No.
Like, why does her eyes turn black at the end? We don't know because they didn't tell us.
And
what is this movie?
That's the aspect of it that kind of reminded me what Terrifier 2 was doing, where they set up all this stuff without knocking it down or without like giving us an explanation for it.
But their kills make up for it.
Yeah, exactly. This one didn't have any redeeming qualities.
At all.
That's worse. Okay, so now number one?
Yep, so our top...
it's got to be the same, I think. We should say it at the same time.
X and Pearl. I love them so much.
Yeah,
so much. And I still think about those movies. Like, they've stuck with me.
They do.
Okay, so X on its own was fantastic. It gave us that Texas Chainsaw feel without being Texas Chainsaw.
Yep.
Like,
it totally
was
did.
So good.
I remember even thinking that when we were watching this in theaters, I'm like, oh, well, this was what Texas Chainsaw should have been.
And the shots are so artistic. Like, yeah, the shots, they're screwing, but they're so artistic. Like, the shot of her and then the sun's on her and stuff.
And there's clever humor in it, as well as gore and horrifying themes and all that kind of stuff. But, this is the pop in my head when Kid Cudi is in the shadows and he's standing there naked in the doorway. He's got his long ass dog hanging there, and it's not played for laughs. Nope. It's just there, and of course you're gonna see it, and you do laugh. But it's not.
Because we're all 14.
Right, he's not swinging it around or trying to be. But it's we're all 14. We're
all 14, exactly.
You know, but. I love this movie.
I love it so much. And Pearl
took it to a new level.
That last shot in Pearl.
Oh my God.
Like, Mia Goth deserves all the Oscars.
She's a star. She's an absolute star. And from what I understand, he just told her, I'm going to just hold it as long as you can. And I guess he just let her.
It's so unsettling. Because remember in the theater, like, people were kind of giggling nervously. And then it kept going and it kept going. And we're all like, what is going on?
Yeah, because it goes from, okay, oh, she's smiling. Okay, haha, the end. Okay, now it's kind of funny because it's like Family Guy where they're holding on too long. Okay, and then it's, is she okay?
Yep. And then you see her eyes are like starting to tear and stuff.
And it's like, is this really her? Because she wants to like stop the damn camera, cut, or is it the character? What's going on?
Blink if you need help.
Yeah, blink twice.
But the movie, the colors are fantastic. Like, it's so colorful.
And it tells a good story.
Exactly.
It really does. And you almost feel bad for her.
Female slasher.
Yeah.
I'm always down for a female slasher.
And then they gave us a tease for Maxine at the end.
I can't wait for Maxine.
So, it's such a good... I think
it's going to be a good trilogy. The first two are so good.
And... to pull off making Pearl while you were making the first movie in secret.
Right.
You know, like, and then they probably did the same with Maxine, I can only assume, but I'm not positive, but is just brilliant. And, like, talk about a brilliant way to handle, like, let's say you had a surplus on your budget or something.
Right.
Maybe that's what happened. I'm not positive there, but just brilliant ways, like, well, we have more story to tell, so they told it. Because obviously when you watch X, there's a backstory for her. It's like, well, how did she get here?
You see it in the pictures a little bit and stuff. Yeah.
And the follow-through is fantastic.
Great.
Here's somebody with a plan. Yep. And that's why I think Maxine's going to be
great. I cannot wait for Maxine. I'm going to tell you, X was more of a Texas Chainsaw movie than the new Texas Chainsaw was.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's a problem, guys.
Right.
So.
All right. So most meh movie for me was Barbarian.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I
Mine's
know.
a top pick too, but yeah.
I know that a lot of people really liked Barbarian.
I did like it.
For me, I did like the mid-movie switch up.
Yeah.
I did like the characters. It's just, again, it's another one that kind of lost it at the end for me.
I know what you're saying, and because I don't think Barbarian is the revolutionary horror movie that they all were
said it was. Yeah,
it was. I think what's interesting is the shock value is the fact that it was good to me, and I didn't know really anything about this movie going into it, and I encourage anybody to watch this not knowing what's going to happen. The thing is, when you do see what's really going on, it's like, well, I have seen that before.
Yeah.
It's not revolutionary. It's, in fact, this whole thing of like these grotesque, older mutant female
Hills Have Eyes
people has been done a lot. We've seen it, and
yeah, she kind of looked like the old lady from Wreck.
Yes, yeah, it did. But I was very entertained by it. I liked it. I thought that the ending was good. I thought that it followed through with everything I wanted it to do. I love the twist in the middle of it.
Yeah, I did. That's my favorite part of it is the switch.
Yeah, so
I thought that was really cool. I like that as a storytelling device.
Barbarian almost made my meh because I don't think it's as revolutionary as everyone thought it was, but I still liked it enough. But not enough to put it on best. So my most meh is the Black Phone.
Yeah, I agree.
And I liked it. There's nothing wrong with the movie.
I didn't.
There's nothing wrong with the movie. I think it was just a letdown. It seemed really short, and it seemed like everything was resolved.
Seemed like there needed to be more interaction, too, between the kid and Ethan Hawke.
Agreed. Yeah, Ethan Hawke wasn't utilized enough.
Anything that they left open to interpret for this guy, we as the audience, because of our cultural experiences, can fill in those gaps.
Yeah.
So we can assume that he had a horrible childhood. We can assume a lot about him, actually, because he is so realistic to these real-life killers.
Yeah. And his brother and everything,
yeah.
You know, like, which I wanted to see more of him.
Yeah, I like the brother.
And I liked the kids in it, but I just felt that, I don't know, it seemed too easy to get away.
Yeah.
I know he worked a lot harder. And
I think the asshole father believed the daughter too quickly.
Yeah.
And, I don't know.
Again, there's nothing wrong with the movie. I think it's just, it didn't hit the right tones for me. I don't regret seeing it. You know, but I don't see myself watching it again or buying it or anything. So,
I agree.
Yeah, so we
already did worse because yours was Firestarter and mine was Jeepers Creepers.
Well, we see a lot of the same movies. So.
Yeah.
But okay, there's our list for the 4 worst meh and best in horror of 2022. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Like, how was your horror year? I think we had a pretty good one.
Yeah.
We enjoyed a lot of
great horror year. And there's, like we said, there's movies we saw that didn't make the list that just, you know.
All right, guys, on that note, Happy New Year. Happy holidays. We'll see you in 2023. And I think I've taken up enough of your time this year, so I'm going to shut up now.
And I'm going to go talk over here.
Okay, bye.